Welcome in, welcome back to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape, but with a special emphasis on our beloved black and gold squads of the Missouri Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's great to be back with you once again. I'm your host, Blair Parks. Holla at you, boy. And before I go any further, I need to give a big thank you and shout out to all of you, the Black and Gold family. Subscriptions are up, views are up, and likes are also up, all because of you. You've made this possible. I vastly appreciate it. And I thank you so much for your time, your attention, and letting me share my passion and love of college football with you, the Black and Gold family, and all college football fans alike. So thank you very much. And let's continue to spread the word. I always encourage any likes, shares, subscriptions, rates, comments. I always ask for your involvement. Feel free to comment away. If there's anything you would like me to share, if I, put my foot in my mouth, if I forgot something, call me out on it. I always encourage your comments and your involvement, but thank you for everything you've done for the channel. We are absolutely rolling. We're rolling like a big circular ball in Raiders of the Lost Ark through the cave, gathering a lot of momentum right now. It's been excellent, and thank you all very much, and I salute all of you. I got a very special episode lined up for you today. Throughout the season, if you've been watching, I have been hinting at some point when the season wrapped up, as it has now, I was going to share with you my all-name team, and guess what? This is the episode to where I will share with you my all-name team. Also, I'm going to share with you my awards for this past season, both on a team level and an individual level. But before that, I'm going to share with you some very quick updated storylines and headlines across the entire college football landscape, and then going to have some fun with my awards and my all-name team. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get at it. What do you say? So the first thing I'd like to do, it's been a few shows, and if you are a first-time viewer, feel free, check out my last shows, whether it be the recap of the national championship game, or prior to that, the national championship game preview and prediction. I don't think you'll like it. I know you'll love it, so check them out. Let me know what you think. But it's been a few episodes since I last brought all of you up to speed and updated you on some storylines and headlines. So I definitely want to do that first before we move into my awards and my all-name team. So let's start off with a little bit of transfer portal update. And since the last time we talked, wow, we have a couple of golden gooses who have entered the transfer portal and are yet to make a decision what their next landing spot is going to be. Of them, the two that are very coveted, if we have former Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams, at the end of the season, very surprisingly, entered his name into the transfer portal. Reports are saying he has not ruled out returning to Norman to play for the Sooners next season, but it's looking more and more like he is going to head elsewhere. And when it comes down to it, he can basically name the team he wants to go play for. I mean, what a great season this freshman had, coming off the bench in the Red River rivalry game when Oklahoma was down big to Texas. He comes in, saves the day, and really saves Oklahoma's season. I mean, and plus at that point, replacing potential Heisman Trophy finalist Spencer Rattler. So what a season Caleb Williams had. We'll have to wait and see where he ends up committing to. But if I was a betting man, which you guys know I'm not, odds are pretty much in your favor if you lay a bet down or two that he would probably hook back up with his former head coach Lincoln Riley at USC. So if anything updates on this, I will absolutely share that with you. So we'll see where Caleb Williams goes. And also, speaking of potential Heisman Trophy finalist entering the 2021 season is JT Daniels, the quarterback at Georgia. Coming into the season, very highly touted. Everyone knew Georgia was going to be the real deal, a very tough, excellent team. They were kind of expected to be right there, toe-to-toe with Alabama in the SEC. But JT Daniels was one of those Heisman Trophy finalists that Vegas really liked. But early in the season, played a couple games, got hurt. Then it just was a series of injuries throughout the entire season. And eventually, Stetson Bennett, who led them to the national title game and won them the national title a couple weeks ago, he has recently said earlier this week that he will be returning to Georgia after speculation he might leave or try his hand at the NFL. Stetson Bennett did come public and say he is returning to Georgia, and within a half an hour, it then broke that JT Daniels was leaving Georgia and put his name also into the transfer portal. So we'll see where JT Daniels ends up falling. One of those guys who has tremendous upside but just can't seem to stay healthy. So we'll have to wait and see what articulates from this. But just a crazy, crazy preseason Heisman Trophy race. I mean, look what happened. I already mentioned Spencer Rattler, who really was the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy at the end of this past season. He ends up getting benched and losing his job. I mentioned JT Daniels never really gets it going there at Georgia due to injury. Sam Howell, another potential Heisman Trophy finalist, they absolutely tank at North Carolina. They end up having a losing season with their bowl game loss. Breece Hall for Iowa State absolutely fell off the radar when Iowa State got out to a very slow start. And then you also have the Clemson quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, who was another one of those potential Heisman Trophy finalists, and none of them ever came to fruition. Just such a wacky season. And that's why I loved this past season so much. It was the year of the fan, and that right there proves it. This is why we love college football so much, because the Heisman Trophy odds makers, the prognosticators, wow, they were way off base, way off base. But anyway, so that's some updated transfer portal news. Now I want to share some news with you concerning our beloved Black and Golds. Let's start with the Missouri Tigers. That last time we spoke, I did inform you that after the Armed Forces Bowl, 2-year starting quarterback for Missouri, Conor Basileck, did enter his name in the transfer portal after not getting the start for Missouri against Army in the Armed Forces Bowl. And we did find out last week that he has found a safe place to land. He now has committed and is a member of the Indiana Hoosiers in the Big Ten. And I think this is a very good move for Conor Basileck. This offense at Indiana is very similar to the Missouri offense. There is a little bit of difference, but there's a lot of similarity. And Indiana throughout the years has proven to be able to put up points. So I think this is a great situation for both Conor Basileck and Indiana, their program and their fans. I'm really excited for this, to see how he does, and hopefully he learns the playbook, he gels with his teammates, and first and foremost, gets healthy. At the end of the season, he definitely was a little bit banged up. So I wish you, Conor Basileck, the best of luck. He does have 3 years potentially of availability left. But if he is to leave, that is if he stays in college, if he's healthy, doesn't go to the NFL, because I checked the schedule. I want the best for you, Conor Basileck, but 3 years from now, Iowa is on the road at Indiana in Bloomington. So hopefully we look back 4 years from now or post-game 3 years from now, and you don't torch Iowa, our beloved Hawkeyes, too much. So we'll wait to see what happens with that. But congratulations, best of luck to you, Conor Basileck. Now from Iowa, for our Iowa Hawkeyes, we received great news recently about some big-time game changers who are returning for either their senior season or their super senior season. Some of these dudes are absolute playmakers. Some of them shunned the NFL to come back for one more chance to repeat as Big Ten West champions, get to the Big Ten title game, and hopefully bring us a Rose Bowl berth. Those guys are the Big Ten defensive back of the year. Riley Moss was getting a lot of NFL draft buzz, a lot of love. He decided to come back. Look forward to you, Riley Moss, next season on the field. Linebacker Jack Campbell was also getting a little bit of NFL attention, which he should, because very quietly, he led the entire nation at the FBS Division I level in total tackles. But being an Iowa fan, I will come clean. That can be a little bit swayed, since, putting it lightly, Iowa's offense was at times challenged this season. So absolutely the Iowa defense was on the field a lot more than most defensive units, but still, leading the entire nation in tackles, that's a big-time get, and a comeback for Jack Campbell in Iowa. Can't wait to see him bury running backs and quarterbacks next year as well. Also coming back is the next NFL tight end from Iowa, Sam Laportes, coming back for his senior season. He definitely got a little bit of NFL love as well, but he's coming back for one more season at Iowa, and he will be the next NFL tight end from Iowa. Mark my words on that. And also, hey, you know, we love special teams at Iowa. I'm an Iowa fan. The punter from down under, Tory Taylor, is coming back for another season to help us out win the field position game. And also one of my favorite Hawkeyes, if not my favorite Hawkeye in this past year's roster, kick return specialist and wide receiver, playmaker, Charlie Jones, is also coming back. But the biggest news out of Iowa with returning players is quarterback Alex Padilla has come public and said he is coming back to fight and try to win the starting quarterback job and beat out the incumbent, Spencer Petras. And if you watched a few episodes ago, I absolutely expect that one of these two will hit the transfer portal themselves at some point. I thought it probably would be Padilla, since Spencer Petras did get the start and played throughout the entire bowl game in the Citrus Bowl against Kentucky, but he is coming back. Now we have to wait and see what Spencer Petras does. So big-time quarterback battle going on at Iowa. I do think when push comes to shove at the end of the spring, maybe early summer, one of these two cats will be in the transfer portal. We'll just have to wait and see. Other news, big-time great news, congratulations to former Missouri head coach Gary Pinkel and Toledo head coach. Don't want to forget you, the Rockets, your fans, all you guys watching. But former coach Gary Pinkel of Missouri and Toledo, it was announced 2 weeks ago that he is a 2022 College Football Hall of Fame inductee. Congratulations to Coach Gary Pinkel. He led Missouri to back-to-back SEC East championships, also led them to a #1 AP ranking with Chase Daniel before they lost in at the time, the Big 12 title game to Oklahoma, were left out of the BCS party. So well done, congratulations, and well-deserved for Coach Gary Pinkel from Missouri. And one final note from storylines and headlines from our black and golds. I got to give some love. You know me. I love the non-Rev sports and the Rev sports alike. So I got to say, kind of a fun little tidbit. You know me. I'm a historian. I love these little bits of information. But right now, we're right in the heart of conference college basketball season. I'm paying attention. So I got to just throw this out there and give some love and credit where credit is due, because I don't know when the last time this has happened. I'll definitely have to look a little further in depth. But currently, in NCAA Division I men's and women's basketball, the scoring leaders in the nation. For the men, it is Keegan Murray. For the women, it is Caitlin Clark. And guess what? You guessed it. They both play for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Caitlin Clark on the women's roster, Keegan Murray on the men's team. So they are both leading the nation in scoring, and the cherry on the top, icing on the cake, however you want to look at it, they are also our native Iowans. So congratulations to Caitlin Clark and Keegan Murray. Continue to make us proud. Bring home the scoring titles. Wouldn't that be something if both men's and women's scoring leaders ended up being Hawkeyes at the end of the season? That would be something. So that's my updated storylines and headlines. Let me know, comment, like, share, subscribe, comment. I always ask for any comments that you want to share, how zany or wacky you think they might be. They're always welcome here. This is a safe zone. This is a safe spot for any sort of commentary, questions, comments, concerns. So now, let's go ahead without further ado. I've waited for this most of the season. I am going to now present to you my 2021 all-name team from across college football. I am so excited for this. I looked high and low, behind every tree, under every rock, to bring you some of the best names of college football players across the entire nation. Really excited. I had a lot of fun with this part. I really did. So let's start off in the offense. I'm going to start off at running back, and I have several running backs for you, a small army, a stable of running backs that made my all-name team. Let's start off with, from UTSA, running back Sincere McCormick. He had to be on this list. Next is from Kentucky, running back Kavasier Smoke. Enough said. He makes the cut. Another running back is Purdue's Xander Horvath, which right there, he sounds like a Game of Thrones character. Lord Xander Horvath. He had to make the list. Congratulations to you, Xander. And my last running back is from Auburn, Tank Bigsby. What a great name for a running back. Look out for the tank. So well done, all my running backs on the all-name team. Next, let's go to the quarterbacks. I have a few quarterbacks to share with you. First of all, I got to give it up to my guy, Bailey Zappi from Western Kentucky. Zapped the competition throughout the entire season and etched his name forever. Well, until somebody else overcomes it. At least as of now, has etched his name into the record books for records for most passing yards and passing touchdowns in the season. Next quarterback is from Nevada. What a great name for a quarterback. Carson Strong. Love that. Strong like bull. Love that name. He made the cut. Deservedly so. Next quarterback is from Mississippi State. Will Rogers. Enough said. If you think classic Americana, cowboy, entertainer, Will Rogers, can't go wrong with that. Two more quarterbacks for you. From USC, I'm going to go with Jackson Dart, throwing darts out of the backfield. Love that. And my last quarterback on the list for my all-name team is Northern Illinois University's quarterback, Rocky Lombardi. What a great name for any athlete, but especially a football player. Rocky Lombardi. That's great. Now let's move to some wide receivers. I've got a couple here that made the cut. I'm going to share them with you right now. First, representing the Tulane Green Wave is Fat Watts. That's right, Fat, P-H-A-T, Fat Watts. Welcome to the all-name team. And the last wide receiver from Clemson is Joe. I kid you not. Kind of reminds me of a couple Hawkeyes of seasons past. One on the gridiron, one on the hardwood. On the gridiron, we had once upon a time Epinesa, who played at Iowa, the father of stud defensive end A.J. Epinesa, who now is playing in the NFL with the Buffalo Bills. And on the hard court, I remember a power forward from my youth, my early days, Jacob Jakes. So that's kind of sends me these memories of Hawkeyes past. But welcome to the all-name team, a Joe from Clemson. So those are my wide receivers on the all-name team. Now let's go ahead and look at, how about some tight ends? I have a couple of them for you. First of all, from Wyoming, welcome to the list, John Michael Jillenborg. Love that. And the other one, some guy I've talked about, he was an impact player in the national championship game. Georgia freshman tight end Brock Bowers. I just love how that sounds. Kind of comes off the tongue like another famous name. Dirk Diggler, Brock Bowers, Dirk Diggler. I could absolutely see that name working in the adult film industry. Could you not as well? So welcome to the list, Brock Bowers. And I do have one offensive lineman that I had to share with you. I got to give some love to the big uglies up front. From Appalachian State, offensive lineman Bear Hunter. How great is that? Bear, B-A-E-R, Bear Hunter from Appalachian State. All right, now let's move to the all-name team on defense. Let's start off, let's go ahead and start off maybe with linebacker, because I love this one. I wanted to wait till the end, but I can't help myself. Linebacker from Arkansas, Bumper Pool. That's right, he changed his legal name to Bumper Pool. So that would be on his Social Security card, his license, passport, Bumper Pool. Welcome to the all-name team, linebacker from Arkansas. Let's go ahead and go next to a defensive lineman from UCF, Big Cat Bryant, with a K, not a C, because he's a big cat. Welcome, Big Cat Bryant, to the all-name team. Now let's move to some quarterbacks. I have a lot of these. From North Carolina, I have cornerback Storm Duck, getting it done, flying north and flying south and everywhere in between. Another safety, I have a safety on here from Auburn, Smoke Monday. Enough said with that. Another defensive back I have in here from San Diego State, and this one might be my favorite. Seriously, this is a tough call. For me to have to pick a favorite, it's impossible. But I kid you not, from San Diego State, cornerback New Zealand Williams. How great is that? Another defensive back, another cornerback from Cincinnati. He'll be playing in the NFL. We have Sauce Gardner. Welcome to the all-name team. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, I got to give some love to our special teamers, absolutely. So my punter from UMass is Georgio Polis. How great is that? So welcome to the all-name team, Georgio Polis. Well done. I have three more, and I had to throw in a couple of our beloved black and golds. I had to do it, and I thought, well, these aren't just legal names, but maybe also if nicknames, they make the cut as well. So I got a couple nicknames here, and I've got a legal name. From Missouri, the place kicker, I've got Harrison, the thicker kicker Mevis. Welcome to the all-name team, Harrison. From Iowa, I've already said their names a couple times. The punt Tory, the punter from down under, the Aussie Tory Taylor. He's also on the all-name team from Iowa. Well done, congratulations. And lastly, my kick return specialist, Charlie Jones. That's it. That is my 2021 all-name team. Hope you had a good time with that. I cannot wait to give you the 2022 all-name team here in a few months prior to the kickoff of the 2022 season. So congratulations to all the members of the all-name team. All right. Next, let's move into my awards. So I'm going to go ahead and go through these. I'm going to do my team awards first. For example, best offensive team, defensive team, surprise team, comeback team. So I'll do my team awards first, and I'll end today's episode with the individual awards. And this is based on not just stats. It's based on what I saw on the field, how much each one of these squads or individuals meant to their team, and how much did their efforts mean? Was it without them they wouldn't be there? There was a lot that factored into this. I mean, some of these will make sense to you and some will not. But hey, it's my show. Like the wedding singer, you will sit and listen to everything I have to say because I can. So let's go and start with my team awards for the 2021 season. Let's start off with my offensive team of the year. And for most of these, I give you my favorite and one or a couple honorable mentions. So this year, my offensive team of the year was the Ohio State Buckeyes. Honorable mention, I had Alabama. I mean, they did have the Heisman Trophy winner and quarterback Bryce Young. And also on the honorable mention, because of the records that were broken, I had to go with Western Kentucky, primarily because of the efforts of quarterback Bailey Zappi, my guy. I think he should have been invited to NYC for the Heisman Trophy presentation. So that is my offensive teams of the year. Now let's turn our eyes to the defensive teams of the year. And this one, not a big surprise. The stats, the results, they speak for themselves. But my number one defensive team of the year is the Georgia Bulldogs. Also, those who are on the honorable mention list, I have Clemson. Even though they started off very rough offensively, their defense was absolutely elite all season. I've got Clemson. I've got Wisconsin, who had the best defense against the run in the nation, very quietly. And also, I put in there my Iowa Hawkeyes, our Iowa Hawkeyes, because they did lead the nation in interceptions, and they had a top 20 defense that absolutely put them in position to win 10 games in the regular season and get to the Big Ten title game. Now let's talk about comeback teams of the year. This was a tough one. This took a little bit of thinking, but my number one comeback team of the year is the Michigan State Spartans. Go Sparty, go green, go white. This was a team that won only 2 games in 2020, the COVID year. Coming into 2021, Vegas put their over-under win total at 3, and here they are, an 11-win team. With just what a great turnaround. What a great comeback for Michigan State under Coach Mel Tucker, who now got himself paid because of the results. Honorable mention for comeback teams of the year, Baylor, the Big 12 champion, 2020. I believe they also won only 2 games to now win the Big 12 and win the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. Congratulations to the Baylor Bears and Coach Dave Aranda. Other team is their opponent in the Big 12 title game was the Oklahoma State Cowboys, a team that also started this season unranked. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year after losing running back Chuba Hubbard a couple seasons ago, but they got themselves all the way to the Big 12 title game. So those are my honorable mentions for comeback teams of the year. And kind of a side note on these 3. And actually, there's 4 teams, and the other 4th I'll mention here next. But this season, we had 4 teams, 4 that started the year unranked, but ended the year in the AP Top 10. And that's the first time that's happened since, well, ever. First time ever that's happened. Another indication what a great season it was. And 3 of those teams are the teams that I just mentioned. Michigan State, Baylor, and Oklahoma State all started the season unranked, finished in the top 10. So great seasons for those teams. Now let's move on to the surprise teams of the year. And number 1 surprise team, the Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines. They were the 4th and last team that began the year unranked and ended the season in the AP Top 10. What a great comeback season with all the distraction. Will Jim Harbaugh stay? Will he go? It's like the Clash song, should I stay or should I go? And now they find themselves in the same situation. He might jump ship for the NFL. We'll have to wait and see. Other surprise teams on the honorable mention, I have the Wake Forest Demon Deacons getting all the way to the ACC title game, winning the Atlantic Division of the ACC. Also have Utah, who came out of literally nowhere, won the Pac-12 in convincing style, made their first ever Rose Bowl appearance. Well done to the Utes, the two Utes. And also the last team on my honorable mention, which is kind of a surprise, but I'll explain why, is the Byu Cougars, a team that lost so much production, more production than anybody else in Division I FBS football. They lost Zach Wilson to the NFL, their stud quarterback. But yet this season they come back, they end the year ranked, and we're 5-0 against the Pac-12. What a great season for BYU. So awesome. Way to come back against all a surprise. That's a great surprise for BYU. Now the biggest disappointment teams of the year for me is I've got to start with top 5 ranked Clemson entering the season. Big time disappointment there. They did right the ship on offense near the end. Other disappointments of the year on honorable mention had to go with Texas. Got to put Florida in there. Oregon, who was tabbed to win the Pac-12 very easily. A team that went to Ohio State week 2, and we thought they were going to be a shoo-in for the playoff. They absolutely collapsed against Stanford and got used and abused like a redheaded stepchild twice, not once, but twice against Utah. So Oregon made my biggest disappointment list, as did the Indiana Hoosiers, and lastly is the LSU Tigers. Next, I want to give some specific love to the non-Power 5 programs. So I'm going to share with you my top 5 non-Power 5 schools at the end of the season. Number 5 was the San Diego State Aztecs from the Mountain West. 4 was the UTSA, the Roadrunners from Conference USA. 3 is the Houston Cougars out of the American Athletic. 2 is the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns from the Sun Belt. And no surprise here, the number 1 best non-Power 5 team this year is the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now the big time comes down to my teams or team of the year. My honorable mention, I'll start off with this for my team of the year, is Georgia. Yes, I know some of you are saying the blasphemy. How could they be honorable mention? Come on. Their honorable mention is the Georgia Bulldogs, and they are accompanied on honorable mention by the Michigan Wolverines. Once again, what they accomplished, very tough to see that, how that happened. Revamped a totally new coaching staff, entered the season pegged as over-under 7 wins, unranked to get to the college football playoff. Absolutely deserve it. And my team of the year that shattered the norm, shattered the glass ceiling, got themselves into the college football playoff field from a non-Power 5 level. Easily, this is an easy one for me. My team of the year is the Cincinnati Bearcats. So those are my team awards for 2021. Hope you liked. Now let's move on to the individual awards for 2021. Let me get a quick swig of water. Once again, thank you for all you do. Please like, share, subscribe, rate, comment. Let me know what you think, how I'm doing. Now let's move on to my individual awards for 2021. Let's start off with surprise players of the year. My number 1 surprise player has got to be the record breaker himself. Quarterback Bailey Zappi from Western Kentucky now is in the record books for records for passing yards and touchdowns in a season. Well done. And honorable mention is Kenneth Walker III, coming, the transfer from Wake Forest to Michigan State. Basically put the Spartans on his back, got them to a New Year's 6 bowl game. Even though he didn't play in that bowl game, still got them there, put them into position, and they brought it home without him since he did opt out. Next is my comeback players of the year. First and foremost, it's got to be Florida State quarterback Mckenzie Milton, coming back from a potential life-threatening injury. Was told he would never probably ever even walk again, nonetheless play football. He did play sporadically. That's a great inspirational story for Mckenzie Milton. Honorable mention for a comeback player of the year is the quarterback transfer from Wisconsin to Notre Dame, Jack Coan. Led Notre Dame to the precipice, almost got them into the college football playoff. Definitely kind of put on numbers that I did not expect. He definitely rose to the occasion. I didn't think he was going to be able to have that sort of success, but he did. So well done to Mckenzie Milton and Jack Coan as my comeback players of the year. Now, my biggest disappointment players of the year. These are guys who were highly touted. Expectations were super high, through the roof. Just didn't pan out. Number one has got to be Heisman Trophy preseason favorite, quarterback Spencer Rattler, who was benched at Oklahoma for Caleb Williams, as I already mentioned. And my honorable mentions for biggest disappointment, I've got Sam Howell, Breece Hall, JT Daniels, because those were also guys who were Heisman Trophy candidate favorites and never materialized. Next is my defensive players of the year. This one was a little difficult, but absolutely the right call. My defensive player of the year is linebacker Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. The stud numbers he had. Even though Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end from Michigan, finished second in the Heisman Trophy race and balloting, Will Anderson Jr. had a better season. Definitely a better player, had more of an impact. Honorable mention, right behind him was Utah linebacker Devin Lloyd. Guy was a game changer on a very physically tough, gifted Utah team. He's heading to the NFL. So congrats to Will Anderson Jr. and Devin Lloyd. Next is my offensive players of the year. And this guy really surprised me. I definitely expected good things from him. I believed his team could have been a sleeper team in the ACC. But I'm going with my offensive player of the year is quarterback Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. And putting them in position to get to the ACC title game and win. Unfortunately, he sat out the New Year's Six bowl game, unfortunately. And my honorable mention, offensive player of the year, is Kenneth Walker III, running back from Michigan State. Now I'm going to have a couple of coaching awards. Before I get to my overall player of the year, I'm going to give a little bit of love to the coaches. I'm going to start specifically with my first year coaches of the year. Guys who this was their first year on new sidelines and new programs. And my number one, the best job for a first year coach goes to Shane Beamer, head coach at South Carolina. Gets them to a bowl game and they absolutely blitzkrieg and shock as an underdog rival North Carolina in the bowl game to finish with a winning record. Well done, Coach Beamer. An honorable mention, right behind him is Coach Bert Bielema at Illinois. Took them to 5-7 in his first year. Missed by one game getting to a bowl game, but absolutely has breathed life back into that Fighting Illini program. Expect definitely a bowl berth next year from them. Now, my coaches of the year. This was another very tough decision for me. A lot of guys could have taken the hardware home for this, but my coach of the year, it's got to be Coach Luke Fickell from Cincinnati, guiding that program to the college football playoff, potentially a once-in-a-lifetime event that we saw, the equivalent, like I said in previous episodes, of a 16 seed beating a 1 seed in the college basketball tournament, something that we've only seen happen once, and it may happen only once in a lifetime. So Coach Luke Fickell, you are my coach of the year. An honorable mention right behind him. Definitely one that I've got to give it to him. With the distraction, getting a major haircut, getting his salary cut in half, on the hot seat. Basically, everyone turned his back on him. There wasn't much support. I got to go with honorable mention. Right behind Coach Luke Fickell is Coach Khaki, Coach Jim Harbaugh for Michigan. Those are my coaches of the year. Now let me get to my player of the year. And I've got a top 5 for you. Now, if you've been paying attention, you probably can maybe guess who this may or may not be. But I'll give you my reason why I believe this person deserves my overall player of the year. Let's start off with number 5. I've got quarterback from Ole Miss, Matt Corral. Guy was due everything for the Ole Miss Rebels. He himself got them to the Sugar Bowl. And unfortunately, he left early in the game with an injury in that Sugar Bowl loss to the Baylor Bears. Number 4, I've got my guy, Bailey Zappi, out of Western Kentucky, just for his individual accolades, his accomplishments. He's got to be one of the top 5 players of the season. Number 3, I've got Will Anderson Jr., the linebacker from Alabama. Hands down was the best defensive player, I believe, all season, throughout, consistently. Number 2 on my list is the Heisman Trophy winner, quarterback Bryce Young from Alabama. So that leaves it, little drum roll. My overall player of the year for season 2021. The trophy, the award goes to Kenneth Walker III, running back, Michigan State. Here's why. I already mentioned what the low expectations were for Michigan State. Coming into the season, over under 3 wins by Vegas. They end up getting to 11 wins with their bowl victory. And really it came down to Kenneth Walker's accolades and his results. Everything that he did, he is the one that got them there. If you take Kenneth Walker III off this team, there may be a 6-7 win team at best on their schedule. They're probably maybe even less than that. Maybe Vegas at that point is right. I mean, his efforts absolutely paid huge dividends for the Michigan State Spartans, especially when you look at their defense or lack thereof. This is a defensive unit that ranked last in all of Division I football in passing yards given up and pass efficiency. So take Kenneth Walker off this team, they are a 6-6 team, I think. Better or worse, maybe plus or minus a game. So that's why I think overall he was the most valuable player to his team. So that's why I give him the knock. Kenneth Walker III, you are my player of the year. That's it. That's today's episode. I really thank you again for your time, your viewership, your support, everything. Once again, like, share, rate, subscribe, comment. Let's get the word out there to all black and gold fans out there, just like you, and every college football fan alike. In the meantime, I'll be back next week with another very special off-season episode. Should be back sometime later next week. Look for me there. Until then, I've said this before, it's been a while. Black and gold fans, ask not what the black and gold can do for you, but what you can do for the black and gold. Until next week, enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Peace, love, progress. Take care, and I'll see you next week on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. See you then. Bye.